Hi, and welcome to Quiltmas Day. I'm so glad you're here, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. My Missouri Star box opening and honest reaction is at the end of the video, so stick around to find out what I really think. And now, on with the show. I used to have a large quilting book library. My husband might still say I have a large quilting book library, but I like lots of reference information. Over the years, I've culled it down because I realized that the books I really love are the ones that are filled with process information or inspirational stories or people. Very few do I use as actual pattern books. I still have some of those, everything Bonnie Hunter and Edita Sitar, for example, but most of my now much more curated book collection is rather unconventional, I guess. Today I'm sharing some of my favorite books. Books that inspire me and connect me with new ideas, old ideas, unexpected ideas, and the quilting community at large. The first book on the list is heavy. Is Unconventional and Unexpected, American Quilts Below the Radar, 1950 to 2000, by Roderick Kirikoff. You guys, this book, oh my goodness, is everything. It's everything I love about a quilt. And it's a reflection of the quilts that I grew up with. As many, if not most, of the quilts are by unknown Southern makers. The photography is beautiful. The quilts are amazing. Oh, that's heavy. Hang on. The quilts are amazing and imperfect and wild. The essays and commentary from people like Kay Fassett, Denise Schmidt, Natalie Chanin are deep dives into the soul of a maker. This is what my mind and heart see when I imagine quilt. Expression, creativity, ingenuity, reckless abandon, and connection. If you love an everything but the kitchen sink quilt, you will adore this book. The next book is Southern Quilts by Mary Kerr. If you want to know how I know most of the quilts in the last book are by Southern makers, this is how. Mary is an awesome and talented quilt historian who has called on the expertise of other quilt historians, specifically historians of Southern quilts, to celebrate and explain quilts of the South. This book is filled to the brim with amazing photos and as much actual history of the photographed quilt as is known or can be surmised. There are specific regional characteristics to quilts, and I love to study the nuance of those differences. I'm a total geek, if you couldn't tell. Mary also has several other books combining vintage textiles, those fragments and pieces, with modern aesthetics and techniques, and I'll link everything below, but her work is really amazing. This next book is my very favorite quilt book of all time. Little Quilts All Through the House. And it's by Alice Berg, Mary Ellen von Holt, and Sylvia Johnson. My mom bought this for me in 1993, and my original copy, this one, it's falling apart, guys. So I have a backup. This little book about little quilts, doll quilts, is where I learned about color and creative freedom. While the quilts have intentionally a very vintage aesthetic, they also have sparkle and whimsy. There's a section on what they call magic fabrics, the fabrics that are unexpected and give these vintagey pieces pizzazz. And then there's the section that talks about maverick blocks. Oh my, it's just my favorite thing ever. When looking at vintage quilts, there's often that rando block that's turned wrong or has two pieces made from different fabrics. Maybe the maker ran out or had half the quilt quilted in the frame before realizing one of the blocks was turned. The choice to leave these things as they are is magical and bold, and it's what I love most about quilts and quilters. Plus, my mom bought it for me when I was learning to quilt. And connections, guys. It's about connections. Speaking of connections, Casey and I found this book in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park gift shop. Man, we love a park gift shop or a museum gift shop. We can stay lost in there as long as we stay lost in the parks or the museums themselves. But book. A People and Their Quilts by John Rice Irwin. This book tells the stories of... hang on. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it because you'll see. A People and Their Quilts by John Rice Irwin. Quilts are a reflection of the people who make, use, and cherish them through the years. John Rice Irwin has personally conducted interviews with hundreds of old-time quilt makers, some of whom were over 100 years old. Detailed photographs taken by Pulitzer Prize winner Robin Hood depict an opulent conglomeration of quilts, from the community quilt that Alex Haley and Archie Campbell helped stitch to the marriage quilt which became known as the murder quilt. That's an interesting story, guys. Here, in their own language, is a first-hand account of people and their art, a people and their quilts. Guys, it's just so good. Quilts tell the stories of their makers and their time, and it's just good. It's kind of a thick read because it is, it's dense text, but I just love it. Quilts and quilting and handcrafts are powerful. And while the next book is out of print and only available at really high prices, I want to mention it anyway because of the continuing work and the organization that it represents. It's called The Sleep Quilt by Tracy Chevalier and Fine Cell Work. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced. It documents a creative, cooperative program and a quilt made by prisoners in some of Britain's toughest jails. Each of the squares documents what sleep means in prison. It is a powerful and heart-wrenching work full of people and connection and creative expression from unexpected sources. I'm linking the book below as well as Fine Cell Work organization, whose mission is to train prisoners and prison leavers in high-quality needlework skills so they can engage in paid, purposeful, professional, creative activity. All people are creative and have a story to tell. And this book reminds me to remember that. The next book is another that connects quilts and larger issues. In this case, the issue of health, both physical and mental. From fundraising for foundations and research facilities to quilting through illness or depression or as a coping tool, it's all about how quilts and textiles are connected to health. And it's called Quilts and Health by Marcia McDowell, Claire Lewis, and Beth Donaldson. I find it infinitely fascinating and inspiring to read the stories from the makers and sometimes the receivers about what the quilt or quilting means for them. It's a beautiful book filled with beautiful quilts and stories and connections. From the serious to the sublime, the last book on my list is here for an interesting reason. But first I'll tell you about the book. It's Quilting with Liberty Fabrics by Jenny Smith. And seriously, guys, could it be any prettier? The book stands on its own merit with amazing stories about the history of Liberty Fabrics and prints and how Jenny came to Liberty Fabrics, and it has really intriguing patterns. It has this gorgeous Liberty fabric reference in the back, and it's just exquisite all around. But the reason it makes my list of favorites is that is my quilter's dream. One day I want to go to Liberty of London and just lose my mind buying bits and pieces and swaths of Tanalon, and then spend an extended period of time working with those fabrics and wallowing in their luxury. As a bonus, I want to mention Quiltfolk. I hesitate to call it a magazine. No, it's not. It's a periodical about quilters. Literally, folk who quilt. And it's just the best day when it shows up on my doorstep. My family knows that we're definitely ordering dinner that day because I stay lost in the pages for hours. It's all about the people. So there is my own unconventional and unexpected list of favorite books. For me, it's all about inspiration and connection and story. Hang around for day 6 countdown box opening, and I will be right back to see us out. Is this day 6?
That's 7.
Gimme!
You're getting stabby over here.
You sure this is 6?
Yes.
Day 6, I see it.
Because remember I messed
I see
up.
it. Advent box, day 6. Cute boxes. Cute paper. I know what it is. Yeah. It's a Scandinavian thing. It's a rolling pin, like a cookie press rolling pin, and you make the cute little cookies with it. Okay. And it's got the recipe, Jenny's quilt block shortbread cookies, on the back of this little paper, which is mostly butter and powdered sugar, which, I mean, that's going to be good, but okay. Okay. And let's see, does it tell me about the little thing? No, it's not. It doesn't tell me if it's like made by somebody local or, anyway. It's a little cookie rolling pin. It's a little teeny tiny cookie rolling pin. Day 6. Oh boy, I never have to say what I think about the box item. I know it's written all over my face, guys. Anywho, thanks for watching and hanging out with me today. And what is your favorite quilting book and why? Let me know in the comments. Everything is linked below, and while you're down there, click those buttons so we can grow our awesome community here. Don't forget to check your public or guild library for some of these titles, and don't forget that you make the world more beautiful just by being in it. I'm Amy, and I'll see you next time.